in my past life, or when I was a child, or when I was much younger, would have stimulated me to go on being an artist. I guess I have to say freedom. My folks, my family, my father was a butcher and my mom took care of the house, and they gave me this tremendous amount of freedom to express myself. There was never an issue to do something that was going to make you a lot of money. My father always said, do something that you really enjoy first. The money will happen, the money will come. So that probably was a stimulus and to keep working, and then art kept me in school with the good grades in art. It balanced out the bad grades in other subjects. I have two beautiful daughters, and every morning when I'd work in the studio on any particular art piece, I'd listen to NPR and there'd be some genocidal story about people's brutality towards people. And one day it really frustrated me, and I took a trip to Sweden, was looking at some art, and on the way back on the airplane I fell asleep and I had a dream of these hearts in this room that were floating. They were coming off the ceiling. And I made a little sketch and sort of forgot about the sketch in my studio, but kept focusing on man's inhumanity to man, which I have a really hard time understanding. So thinking about it, I started to think about the heart, because I have a heart condition, and I've gotten to know my heart pretty well because of that condition. So I started to think about the heart in relationship to what causes a person to commit genocide. And to me, it's the cold heart. It's the heart that hasn't released its passion, or it's got its passion locked up or disguised in some way. So that's how this piece started to develop. This won't run. This motor will only run once every 4 minutes, basically. It's okay, we're close.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to adjust that on the cam so it'll make one cycle drop, and then 28 seconds later another heart will come on somewhere in the room. You won't know which one.
So it's just going to be random?
Yeah, and the hearts don't just drop rocks. They'll drop personal belongings.
That's good.
One's going to drop a bag of books and bricks. One's going to drop a tombstone that has some loving, compassionate writing on it.
Yeah.
God, it's amazing. Unbelievable. See, I don't understand how someone can walk by a 3-year-old kid and put a bullet in his head. I don't understand that concept. And yeah, and I don't understand the concept. I don't understand why all of a sudden neighbors who lived next to each other for years decide to start killing each other. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. It just blows my mind. And so for me as an artist, I can put together these materials and create a language, and this may not change anything. But what it's going to do is it's going to make me feel like I'm addressing the issue in some way, to maybe make somebody come through the door and say, oh yeah, we should do something about that. And the only reason we're not in there, and I'm sure people realize this, is because there's no oil or there's no gold. If there is oil, like Iraq, you know, we go right into Iraq because there's a lot of oil reserves. So we've got to protect them. But there's nothing in Bosnia except human life, and we don't place human life on the level of oil. We place oil above it. We place resource above it, which is so sad. Yeah, I mean, as a person, I'm just trying my best. There's all different forms. People stand up in soapboxes. People go out and burn themselves. People go out and take a gun to the White House, shoot at the White House. People do all different things to voice a concern. And all I'm doing as an artist is voicing a concern in some aesthetic way that, you know, it may not, I mean, I think anything makes a difference. I think even as small as it is, it might, mother, father, child, each leg of the family. And originally the hearts were going to hang from the ceiling, and that wouldn't work out structurally, so I designed a tripod. This tubular structure is the umbilical cord, or the cord of life, that comes from the family and goes to the heart. And the light bulb that hangs is a signification of something living. It's the one, there will be a light bulb just hanging here, dangling, and real low wattage, and it basically is the one thing that says these are still alive, the one hope. And that's basically all it is. The heart is covered in lead because the heart's cold. How else could somebody kill somebody? Needless. I mean, these little kids don't know anything about the differences between the Muslims and the Serbs. They don't know, they don't understand that. So why kill them? Why kill anybody, but why shoot these kids? So the cold, impassionate heart, I think it's, has to warm up and has to care about humanity in order to stop the killing. And I don't know if that'll ever happen. It's been going on for years. But then I address other issues with the jet airplane piece in the other room.
I thought it was interesting with the jet airplane piece, the kind of caption you had running across the pyramid. I kind of interpreted it as that is poking fun at the military who show off these.
Oh, I love to poke fun at the military. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. They need to be. They need to be a checks and balances with the military. Why do you think Tom Cruise made the movie Top Gun? Yeah. It's not just a movie. Immediately after the movie was released, hundreds of thousands of people went down and joined up the Naval Air Reserve so they could fly a jet like Tom Cruise. I mean, it's ludicrous. So the point is that piece is, talks about with God on our side, the justification of killing throughout history has been, it's okay to kill because God's on my side and he says it's okay. I mean, the Crusades were a perfect example, in medieval times, the Crusades, and
of course both sides think that.
Well, sure, both sides think it, so yeah. That's how they're justifying that it's okay to wipe out these. It's just like people talk about homosexuals, or gays. Get rid of them, they're diseased, shoot them all down, God didn't want the homosexuals to be here. I mean, this is ridiculous. So they justify killing using God or using some crazy thing, and that's sort of what that's about, is that here we have the pyramid. Why was the pyramid built? You know why pyramids were built?
Tribute, right?
He's raising his hand over here. He'd love to answer this. I think it's because the pyramid shape raises you to Godhead. In other words, it brings you closer to the heavens. So that's why because it's closer to God.
They were supposed to be tombs.
Right.
Yeah.
And it would elevate you. And so that's why the pyramid, and then the idea that you've got the crucifixes, and then the bones, and then this jet. Yeah, it's saying, hey, when are we going to stop? That jet basically is obsolete. They want one that when they pull the trigger will shoot 100 targets at once. That'll shoot, I think, 30. When they pull the trigger, it hits 30 different targets. So, when is it going to stop? How many times can you kill? You kill, but they want to keep killing and killing in the same situation. And yeah, those are toys. And to me, Top Gun was a glorification of these, the power of these as killing machines. And I don't look at that as entertainment.
And there have been several other movies glorifying the military in general.
Yeah, glorifying death. I mean, here we go. We tell our kids not to talk to strangers, but we let them go in and sit in the house and watch killing as entertainment. Think about that. It's sick. Who wants to see? It's the same with wrestling. It's an act, but these guys are out there brutalizing each other and killing each other, blood all over the place, and that's entertainment. I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's something wrong with this picture. Do I want to go in tonight and sit down and watch killing? No, I want to watch living. Why not a movie about an artist creating? You never see those. There's never. I mean, I get disturbed every time they give Hitler credit. I mean, the People magazine picked the 10, the big events of this century. And they put Hitler down. I wouldn't give Hitler the time of day. I wouldn't give Hitler any press. Because that's that whole glorification of it. I give him press in the history books. I teach the kids about what he did. And I guess you heard what Steven Spielberg's doing.
Well,
he's releasing a CD-ROM on the history of the Holocaust.
Is he?
And he's giving it free to every school in the world.
Wonderful.
Incredible.
Good.
And when I hear stuff like that, I say, it's incredible. You know, here's spreading history. But don't call it a great event of the century. It's an embarrassing event. But anyway, back to art. Art is a free expression. Art is a language. There are no rules with art. That's what's wonderful. There's no rules with what I'm doing. I could do anything. I could paint these tripods red. I could do anything I want. Yeah. You know, so I'm not, I really love the fact of art being free, and I think that's probably why the system and stuff is afraid to have too much art, because it is free.
And we saw back in the studio back there, the saddle with the cowhide and the seashells. Can you explain what's behind?
Well, basically, that's another heart situation. That's a large heart and with a saddle on top of it. And the whole idea is in riding, in equestrian riding, the closer you get to your animal, you react as one. And so the idea here is you're riding your heart in the sense that you're trying to listen and feel your heart so that you can become close and one within your heart. Too many people deny their feelings. They don't want to tell someone they love them. They're worried about that, what it might mean. Or, I mean, there's all these sort of, I better not walk down the street with that gay guy because someone will think I'm gay. I mean, there's all this sort of innuendos instead of going with your honest feeling of your heart. Your compassion. Listen to your heart, become one with your heart. Intuition's a perfect example. I mean, intuition to me comes from the heart. When something just happens and you have to do it, there's a passion there. So the whole idea is the saddle's riding the heart. The seashells just tell you that the heart's old, the heart goes back thousands of years. The shells are skeletons of humanity, basically. And I love seashells, so it's funny. I mean, I'm really going to be excited when that's done. But
and the cowhide.
Cowhide is just a representation of being of going back to the real living. You know, there's a real, like as if there's a real animal under there. Yeah. You won't see much of the hide. The saddle covers most of it. You see what I'm saying? It's just sort of like a shadow, and you go, oh, there's cowhide. It's just sort of another connection to something that's representative of real living force, you know, the hair.
Subtlety.
Yeah, just real subtle, and some people probably won't even notice it. Some people may not see it as a heart, and I hope the shells don't hide the fact. I don't think they will. You know, they could. Somebody could go, God, what's that blob underneath the saddle? Everybody I see that's seen it says it's a heart. As they say, these are hearts. This is basically not meant to be a realistic heart. It's just representational of that organ. So there's a lot going on here. I think interpretation is healthy. I think it's fine if you get a different interpretation. I think it's great. I just think the important thing that it is that it should be engaging. If someone totally walks by it and doesn't look twice at it, that's what I worry about.
Yeah.
I just think in some way it can represent something to you which could better your life. It doesn't have to be my message. You know, I think, I mean, this is going to be, people will read into this a number of things, you know. So it's okay. I mean, there's no way you can have it without an explanation written out, have it tell the story exactly, you know.